Hello and welcome to the Young Adults live stream. I am just gonna absolutely trust that we're currently streaming to you and you can see us all. And you might be wondering what's going on. You're probably expecting something looking slightly different from this as we have done over the last few weeks. The backstory basically is that I tested positive for a COVID test last week. I'm fine. My lovely lady wife is fine, but it does mean that every single member of the Young Adults team that was there on Monday evening has to isolate. So this is part of the joys of my lovely lady wife, but we're still very excited for what we've got for you. I'm joined this evening by three, I nearly said four because I was counting myself in that, but I guess I could. Three lovely young faces. I'm sure you recognize them all. These are three members of your Young Adults team who have been praying for you, who have been otherwise just caring for you throughout the last 6 months or so. I think it's been since September. So they're here today just for me to interview them. And it's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it, guys?
Sure is.
So why don't, first of all, you go around and just tell us who you are and what is it that you do when you're not being dragged into Zoom calls by me. Abby, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I'm Abby.
Okay.
And when I'm not being dragged into Zoom calls, do you mean for occupation or do you mean like what I like to do for fun?
Oh, I was going for occupation, but you can tell us what you do for fun too.
Okay, well, so for fun, I'm currently making creative things to decorate my room, which is quite exciting. And my occupation, I am a primary school teacher.
Amazing. What year?
Currently year 1, but I'd like to go back to the little ones because they're my favourite.
Anyone watching thinking year 1 isn't the little ones? Amazing. Dan, who are you and what do you do?
I am Dan, and I'm currently a gap year student at TLC.
So you've probably seen a lot of him. You might be getting a bit sick of him, but that's all right.
Too much.
We're not getting sick of him, Dan, that's a joke. And finally, Brogan.
I'm Brogan. So when I'm not on Zoom calls, I spend pretty much 90% of my time on Zoom. I work with apprentices. So I educate, mentor, and kind of guide them through their apprenticeship programs. And then I also, not at the moment, but I have a business in sports massage as well, which I do part-time.
Amazing. And guys, each of you, I'm so grateful to have you guys on the team. You are all
a business in
and yeah, such an encouragement to me as well. So thank you for being here this evening. I'm sure you're all going to have amazing things to inspire our young adults with that are going to change and profoundly impact their life. Just to set the bar nice and high for you.
Thanks, Callum.
So, Ali, you already kicked us off with this a little bit, but what kind of things do you enjoy, each of you? What do you do when you're not working?
I do lots of things. I am quite active. So I like the beach and I love the sea. So I like surfing, which is one of my things that I really, really like. I like to go running and I like to do cooking. I also like to knit, which is so cool.
Hey, I know lots of cool people that knit or crochet.
Yeah, people laugh, but I do some really good Christmas presents. So.
There you go. If you're looking for knitted Christmas presents, make friends with Abby. I'm not sure that's much of an advertisement, but that's okay. Cool. What about Brogan? What do you kind of do with yourself outside of work?
Outside of what?
Outside of work.
During lockdown, I've actually started to enjoy cleaning things that are already clean. I don't know about anyone else, but it seems to be the only thing to do. But before lockdown, I used to play football. I used to travel quite a lot, so I really enjoy traveling. But yeah, there's not really a lot to do at the moment. So cleaning. Quite sad, really. Yeah.
That's a hobby for your CV. That's maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I totally empathise with you. And Dan, what about yourself?
A recent hobby of mine is coffee. So I've always loved coffee, going to coffee shop, 60 degrees, go there when it's
Good
open.
shout.
But ever since lockdown, I've really got into like home brewing coffee. Like it's really interesting and all the different ways you can do it. Only problem is that I start like YouTube black holes in coffee bean. There's so many things you can buy, and I literally want to buy all of it. So it's kind of good that I'm in a volunteer role right now. I haven't got income, otherwise I'd spend all my income on like coffee stuff.
It'd be like 3 months' time, you've got the full kit, you've got tattoo sleeves, you've got those round hipster glasses and a big beard. In my head, that's what
See
every
it.
coffee guy looks like.
Come back in 3 months.
Yeah, sure. Well, a couple more questions to get to know you guys a little bit better, and then we'll dig into some deep stuff. But just quick fire, each of you, I'll go around, we'll go Abby, Dan, and then Brogan, because that's the order you're in my screen. There's no favoritism in that at all. Just quick fire. Abby, film or sport?
Ooh, sport.
Dan?
Oh, the same question.
Yeah, same question.
Quick
Sport.
Brogan?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Or
Oh, clean sweep for sport. I feel left out. Camping holiday or beach holiday? Abby?
Beach holiday.
Camping.
beach every time.
Got to be the beach as much as I enjoy camping. Food or sleep?
Sleep.
Sleep.
Food.
Food. Yeah, I'm in team food myself. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Cats.
Dogs. I'm allergic to cats.
Me too.
Oh, I'm slightly allergic to cats too. Wow, look at that.
No, allergic
This
to
is your
cats.
young adults team, and we're all allergic to cats, apart from Dan, who is not and likes them. This is not a quick fire one. What do you think is the biggest animal you could take in a fight, personally?
So I would go for a rhino because I don't know if you know me, but I am super, super, super strong.
So you could wrestle a rhino to the ground and pin it.
Yeah, there is definitely no sarcasm in my voice right now.
Wow.
I could definitely take on a rhino.
Wow. Note to self, don't mess with Abby. Cool. What about Brogan? Biggest animal you could take? Can you beat a rhino?
No, but I would take on a lion, and I wouldn't fight it, but I feel like I would use some like reverse psychology on it. I feel like I'm quite similar to a lion, so I'd use some reverse psychology.
You'd reverse psychology. You say, "Oh, go on, eat me. I want to be eaten," and then
exactly that.
So we had a rhino and a lion. I was definitely thinking smaller than this, but that's all right. I trust you. Dan, like a small dog?
Realistically, I think I could take on a cow. One solid punch to the head, knocked out.
Personally, I think all three of you are a little bit deluded, but that's fine.
I
The
disagree.
interesting thing would be what would win out of those three animals. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Do you have any hidden talents?
Oh,
No. Oh, go on, Abby.
I do. I've just remembered what it was. So I really don't like the board game Cluedo. Okay, I think it's really boring, and I really don't like it. But every time I play, I win. And it really annoys me because I don't want to play the game. And then every time people are like, yeah, but you always win. I'm like, yes, but the game is boring. So every time I'm over, people play because they want to like beat me. And I'm like, yes, please beat me. But I still always win.
Well, that's it, Abby. The game is boring because there's no challenge for you because you just know you're going to win from the outset. Isn't that it?
No, I don't want to win. Anyone want to beat me, feel free to play me at Cluedo. I would happily lose that title.
So are you telling us you're talented at Cluedo? Like, is that a thing?
Well, I don't know because this sounds really bad. I don't try to win because I really don't like the game. But I don't know. Maybe I should be the new Poirot. Maybe I should change the career.
Maybe that's it. Just a slight career change that, primary school teacher to detective. Actually, I feel like you have to be a detective as a teacher, don't you? Often. He stole my sweets, did he though? That's the question. Any other hidden talents before we move on? I didn't get a lot of confidence coming through about that.
I don't know if it's a talent. Like, I quite enjoy writing poetry, but whether I'm talented or not is a different story.
That's a risky thing to admit on a live stream where we could ask you to read some. But...
Yeah.
I can't find any. I've cleaned it all up.
What a shame. True story. The other night, I couldn't sleep, so I wrote a poem, which I don't do very often. I can't claim it.
Is it about sheep?
I woke up in the morning and read it, and it was just really angsty. It was obviously just my sleep-deprived brain being like, I just want to vent out my frustration. But hopefully, you got a better muse than sleeplessness.
Yeah, I have.
For sure. So we've got a detective and a poet. Dan, you just Mario Kart? Any good at it?
Not really.
No.
Just the average guy.
You're good at making coffee. There we go. We'll go for that.
But no.
And just to say, guys, in the chat, if you have any questions for our YA team, at the end of this interview, we're going to open it up to anything you guys want to know. So please think of your trickiest theological questions, chuck them in the chat, and we'll have a bash at answering them. Isn't that right, guys? Or your most light-hearted fun ones, preferably, is the vibe I'm getting from everyone on the screen. But that's all right. Either's fine. What do you guys enjoy the most about being on the young adults team? Who wants to kick us off? Dan, you've not started in a while.
What do I love about being on the young adults team? I love serving. Yeah, and they're like, so everyone in young adults is almost like friends to us. So it's not like serving youth where you're sort of above them. It's nice to be in and around as well as lead. Quite like that.
That's great. That's great. Quote from Dan: "I'm above the youth." No, we know that's not what
we're going to sound like that.
No, that's great, and I agree. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to serve you guys watching. Who's next?
I'll go.
Go on, Rogan.
I enjoy being part of a great team, a caring team. I think the stuff that young adults does is it impacts on many different levels. I like representing what I call the oldies. So the latter of the age group.
The young adult seniors.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even get mentioned. Sometimes it's 18 to 25s, I think. So.
Oh, it's definitely 18 to 30s in my heart, Rogan. Don't worry.
I know that. So yeah, I like just watching people grow as well over the year and being able to support that as well.
Absolutely. Abby, what about yourself?
I think I like getting to know everybody. And just hearing their stories and hearing their journeys, and then as well just watching where they start at the beginning of the year and where they end at the end of the year as well, because I just think it's great to see that. And because I'm surrounded by kids all day, it's so nice to be with some adults who actually have adult conversations.
Are you there with your like tracking grids for the YAs? Like, oh, they're meeting their targets this week.
They've made 10 steps in their journey.
Guys watching, we don't have tracking grids for you, I promise. Although I did for a long time have a register that I didn't tell anyone about. That's all right. It's out there now. I've aired it. I didn't have attendance statistics. That's no. We're doing a series at the moment on our YA live streams about heroes. And I just wondered, for each of us on the screen, do you have a personal hero from anywhere? It could be from fiction, from kind of a public figure, someone from the Bible, just anything at all. And why are they a hero to you? Who's going to kick us off?
I do, but you're going to have to bear with me, okay? Because it's a bit random.
All right.
My hero is Woody from Toy Story, okay? And the reason is his character never gives up on anybody. And he always puts everybody else before himself. So I don't know if you've seen the Toy Story films. So in one of the series, like Wheezy gets taken for the garage sale, and he leaves everyone behind and gets in trouble because he wants to save Wheezy. And then Forky keeps throwing himself, that's Toy Story 4, Forky keeps throwing himself in the trash can, and he keeps jumping in to save him and bring him back out again. And I love that kind of character of, trying to never letting anyone go and chasing everybody to, make sure that they're safe.
Yeah. No one's forgotten. Everyone's worth it. It's a Woody. That's
yeah. And he gets in trouble a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the deepest things I've heard about Toy Story, if I'm honest. It's, cool. Well, Brogan, who's one of your personal heroes?
Mine was and still is my nan. She's no longer with us, but she just always remained so faithful despite any season, and no matter what came our way, she was just strong. And it's not until you look back on someone's life that you actually see those things that you probably don't recognize whilst they're doing life. So yeah, it was quite inspirational, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure. And often it's our older relatives, isn't it, who we kind of look back on their lives and just think, wow, they have a lot to bring.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Awesome. Dan, what about yourself?
So there's one person that's coming to mind, and it's definitely going to seem like I'm trying to get around points here. But like, if we're defining hero as like someone you aspire to be, someone you look up to, Pastor David Hind is someone I definitely look up to. And I'm not just saying that if you're watching Pastor David.
He's
so passionate about
later.
Jesus. You what?
He's going to slip you that £20 later.
I'll wait for it in the post.
No, why? Please go on.
Yeah, he's so passionate about Jesus, so passionate about people, so passionate about his family, his wife, that he clearly loves, his children and his grandchildren. I just really want to be like that when I'm older.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. And we are very privileged with our leadership here at TLC. Guys watching, just pray for our leaders and be grateful for them, because they really are astounding. David and Susan and all of our eldership and kind of spiritual leadership are just great. Great point, Dan. Great point. Maybe a few more directed questions now then. Dan, you're doing the gap year at TLC. What were your reasons for that decision? What made you think, like, you know what? Pursue a career, earn loads of money, or give a year of my life to God for free? What played into that?
So primarily, I saw the guys last year doing the gap year, and I was like, that looks like a load of fun. Great bunch of guys. I was like, yeah, I want to join in that. So that was like that first caught my attention. I was like, after uni. Then I really thought about it. I was like, actually, yeah, I could like set aside a year of my life before I start a career to actually dedicate my whole life, everything in it, to God and to the church. And I was thinking about it the other day, actually. It's sort of like, I hope it's like this, it's sort of like tithing. So in tithing, the Bible says as soon as you get your income in, take 10% and give it to church. It's almost like before I even start my career, as soon as I come out of university, I'm giving that year, maybe 10% of my life, but that year to serve the church. Yeah. I thought it was quite a cool way of thinking about it.
Yeah, awesome. That concept of tithing your time as well is important.
Yeah.
And maybe for those of us listening, that's not a concept you've ever really thought of. And maybe just I'm sure Dan would encourage you to kind of look on your life and think, well, how much time do I give over to God? Maybe I mean, it's always a handy thing to kind of examine your life under a bit of a microscope sometimes, isn't it, for those kind of things. Yeah. Awesome. What have been some of your best moments of it so far, Dan? Any highlights, anything funny or just impactful?
So I came into it and I was put on Revolution, so that's 11 to 14s. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to hate this. Like 11 to 14s, it's sort of that age where they want to be treated like adults, but they act like children. So I was like, everyone's just going to back chat me. I was going to go, this is going to be awful. So I went the first night hated it. I was like, I'm not getting on with these kids. There's no connection there. So I prayed about it. I was like, God, like, show me what you want me to do. Help me in this area of ministry. And I went back the next week and I loved it. And ever since then, every single week, I've just loved leading the kids. It's come naturally to me. And now Thursday nights are just to highlight my week. Leading our 11 to 14s. It's been cool. And also worship. I love worship. Doing the gap years allowed me to almost every week, most weeks when we were in the building at church, to lead worship, which was awesome.
That's cool. And guys, if you enjoyed watching Dan lead worship at church this Sunday gone, Church Online, why not just put a little encouragement in the chat for him? Because I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's been so good to watch your gifting grow as well as you've given time to God through this. So, what have been some of your hardest lessons? Just to really dig into your deepest personal secrets now.
Probably that. Not everything I do has to be seen and acknowledged. Because quite a lot is probably not seen and acknowledged, but that's all right. And it's learning that that's all right. It's our human nature to want to have approval. Like, you did a great job, like, almost naturally. That's been quite a hard challenge. There was a quote I wanted to bring, which like sums up that challenge perfectly. And it says, it's by Louis Giglio. Big up, I love Louis. He says, let the light that's in you shine brighter than that shines on you. I'll say that again, just in case you didn't get it. Let the light that shines in you shine brighter than the light that shines on you. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very powerful. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, maybe actually then, guys, don't put an encouragement in the chat for Dan. No, it's a joke, don't worry. Abby, you are a primary school teacher. You work in a school, well, not in a school at the moment, presumably, but with a school. As a young professional, to put you into a bracket and a category there, how do you represent Jesus in your workplace?
Yeah, so I think I'm quite lucky in the school I'm at, in that it's a very multicultural school. So there are many different faiths. So it makes it quite easy to talk about mine, because there is so many going on there. It's quite an accepting environment. But I think I struggled with it when I first started. I wanted to shout Jesus from the rooftops, and I wanted to, talk to every single person in my job about Jesus. And although that's great, I think it wouldn't have been very effective, and would have meant that many people would have avoided me, because, it had been a bit full on. But what I found better for me and the environment I'm in was that I prayed about it, and God was like, just be. So I just spent a lot of time trying to push into my relationship with God and get stronger in Him and a firmer foundation of who I am in Christ. And I just literally did my job day to day. Everyone knew I was a Christian, and everyone knows I go to church. And if they ask what I'm doing on the weekend, I tell them. But I think for me, what seemed like a better way of telling everyone about Jesus was to try and reflect Him as much as I could. And I kept getting people used to say like little things, like somebody said to me, like, how are you so nice all the time? And I'd be like, oh, well, it's because I've got faith, and I believe, that Jesus loves everyone. And even that little snippet, and then I'd walk away, and it would just, and the hope was that, and I'd pray for them afterwards, and the hope that it would stir something up. Or how do you manage to do so much? And I was like, oh, it's because I've got faith. Or this was my favorite one. How are you so positive during COVID? And I'd be like, well, it's because I've got faith. And I know that God's got good things coming. And I think it had more effect just saying those little snippets, rather than trying to delve into a massive debate on faith and religion, and which religion is right and which religion is wrong. But just as much as I can, trying to reflect Jesus in the workplace. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you have, maybe along those lines, any tips for anyone who wants to represent Jesus more to their co-workers or maybe their study mates?
Yeah, and I think it's instead of thinking about how you can project Jesus. It's about how you are with Jesus and how you can be as much alike as Jesus as you can. So really investing in your walk with Jesus and getting as close to him as you can, so that he radiates from every single bone within your body. And it's not worrying about how I can tell people about him. I think that's the more thing. Instead of telling, it's showing. And I know in my life, on my journey, when I strayed from Jesus, when people would tell me about him, I'd be like, yeah, I know, I've heard about Jesus my whole life. But it's when people show you who he is, that's when you can't deny how amazing Jesus is. And I think just not worrying and just praying on it, and God will open those doors. Yeah. So you don't need to make it happen. That's what God will do. So God will open all of those possibilities. So yeah.
So it all kind of almost starts in the secret place, doesn't it, with your personal relationship?
Yeah.
Awesome. And Brogan, you mentioned perhaps more outside of COVID season, you run your own massage business.
Sports massage, yes.
Sports massage. That's really cool.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what are some of the ways that your faith impacts the way you run business? Maybe some of the entrepreneurial section.
Yeah, so running a business by myself, just a small business, is quite hard and demanding. There's a lot of things going on. So having God there to look after majority of it, or all of it, is it just takes that pressure away. One of the positives is I have control over my diary, so I can have some days off. So it's always a bonus. But I just make sure that I do the small things. So I pray for the right customers. I pray for my customers. I pray for a good day. I pray for the right accounts. I pray for the right opportunities to open up, the right people to walk through the doors. And I think we can sometimes forget about the small things, and we can look at, I want to run a multi-million-pound business or whatever. Yeah. And it's not about that. It's just giving God the small things that he can take care of, so that you can just go about doing what you enjoy. And that's why I do it as well.
Amazing. So kind of saturating it in prayer, giving him over the small things. Yeah. That's really cool. Awesome. And what about in your kind of personal life then? What are some of the ways you push yourself to keep on growing?
I think more recently is surrounding myself with more like-minded Christians, particularly around a similar age, but also a little bit older as well because of their experience. Also, by surrounding yourself with more like-minded Christians, you start to see your own character, and they start to pick up on little things that aren't as nice, should we say, in your character, and you can have those honest conversations. So I've had to start looking at pride and selfishness and anger as well, and just start to work on those characteristics that they aren't like Jesus. And then secondly, more so this year, God told me to focus more on giving and giving more back to him financially, which has been really difficult because financially this year it's probably been the hardest year of my life. But what I've learned from that is that we don't own everything that we have. It's all God's. So if he takes it away, we can't complain about that. So it's just taking off the strings to what we think we own, giving that back.
That's a great thought, this idea that everything we have is on loan from God anyway. So why wouldn't we give some back to him?
Exactly.
Great. So surrounding yourself with Christians, particularly you said like older ones, who can input into you. And giving, making sure that giving is a part of your routine. That's great advice. Maybe just quickly, we've only got a few minutes left and we'll wrap up. Do any of you have anything you feel God has been saying to you that you want to share with our young adults now? We've got a minute each. So anyone launch in if you've got something.
Yeah, I felt I'd spent some time with God this afternoon, and I felt he was saying that there were some people watching this live stream tonight just who have struggled with confidence in prayer and feeling a bit self-conscious with praying out loud. And I laughed when he said it to me, because I was like, that's the journey that I have been on for the past year, and like I cannot believe where he's got me now to where I was at the beginning of the year. And I think what God was saying was that it's not about, and there's a verse in Matthew 6:7, so you can read that, and it's not about all the big words and being all fancy. It's just about having that conversation, and that we are in a relationship with God, and it's about spending that time during the day just chatting to him. And I sound crazy most of my day because I'm walking around and I'm just talking to God, but I try and make sure that he's involved in my life, even if I know he knows it. That doesn't matter, because he wants us to tell it to him, because it's that action of us bringing it to him. So just that conversation, and also that just to make sure that you're making time for somewhere to pray, because I used to pray sitting in my bed, and I keep falling asleep. And I think God was just saying, make sure you've got a special place where you can pray, be it a chair or a different room or something, just maybe at the end of the day to dedicate that space. So chatting throughout the day, and then in the evening, maybe having a set time to really just invest in speaking to him.
What a great model for a way of how to do your life in relationship with God as well. That's awesome. Thank you, Abby. Yeah. Anyone else have something to share?
Yeah, I think the words that I just kept getting from God was, you're not alone. So it's happened in my life, and I think a lot of us are feeling this way, that you're not alone. God is with you. God is looking over you. He's protecting you. And this morning I've got a calendar next to my desk, and I read it every morning. And this morning it's, you will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. It's Psalm 16:11. And the Message version is, now you've got my feet on the life path, all radiant from the shining of your face. Ever since you took my hand, I'm on the right way. So just know that God's with you. You're not alone. And yeah, he's holding your hand.
Great. That's amazing. Thank you, Rogan.
And I suppose I'll just quickly refer back to what I said earlier as well. Just to keep digging deep. The Father sees everything we do, and he knows everything we think. He knows our hearts. So just a small encouragement there, that if people don't see it, the Father still sees, and he knows your heart.
Yeah, great. So be close to him, be in constant conversation with him, dedicate time to him. And then you're not alone. God's walking with you. Keep digging deep, guys. That's the word of God for you if you're watching this evening. Those three things. So why not take that, receive that, and yeah, we just pray a blessing over each of you watching, that you would know his closeness with you this week. Amazing. Well, that's all we've got time for this evening. We'll be back in the building next week. I hope you've enjoyed our little interview and getting to know some of your young adults team a little bit more. If you have any questions at all, get in touch, and we'd love to help you out with anything. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Callum.
Thanks, Callum. Bye.